You're muted, Zavedia.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum, friends, and good evening to you all. I'm back with another exciting episode of Live from Elite Studio. And as you all know, that these days I'm interviewing the successful and experienced Toastmasters who share their journey and experiences with us, especially those Toastmasters who just joined this platform. Toastmasters International helps people or members who join them to enhance their leadership skills and the speaking skills. So today, I have invited one of my mentor, very amazing, motivating, innovative Toastmasters from Qatar, DTM Raju. But before I invite him officially and formally to start the conversation, let me share his profound um, profile with you guys. Uh, I think, okay, I'm so sorry. I think it's okay. Little glitch. Okay. DTM Raju has been in Toastmasters since 1996 in Oasis Toastmaster Club, subsequently in Dubai and currently in Qatar for last 10 years. Has collection of about 196. I think you have crossed this number to DTM Raju. I think it's 200 plus trophies during last 9 years, I would say, in various contests, mentor of 4 clubs, and still learning art of public speaking. And recently, last year also, he won the contest of his district. So we will share the details of his experience about last year contest, and also when he joined the Toastmasters. And definitely, he will share the informative insights about how to overcome your fright, stage fright, how to get the good content, and how Toastmasters International actually help us to be to become successful, and how to utilize this platform. Good evening, Tim Raju. First,
Good evening, Zaveria. Thank you very much for the opportunity given to me. And it's always my pleasure to share my experiences. I'm a jack of all trades, master of none. Have my foot in everything, but still, the benefits of being a slow learner is eventually you will get there, if not today, tomorrow. So that's the way I see it things. So where do you want me to start with?
yes, we will start first your initial academics and a little about your from your belong from India, and then we will move towards the question that why do you think that you should join Toastmaster International? In which year you joined it, and how it go? We are talking about not we are talking about the DTM. We are talking about only the cases Raju and how he started.
Okay, thank you, thank you. I come from a humble background, and we are three siblings. The elder one, father's father's best mate. The younger one, mother's darling, and me in the middle, nowhere, neither here nor there. And same thing also reflected in studies. And I had this phobia, the love-hate relationship with teachers. And I used to love when I didn't see them. And I used to hate when they gave me the marks. I was always a topper from bottom. And it was a never-ending saga. I always used to dream big before exams. What if there are floods, the school collapses? And what if, something happens, the exams get cancelled, all sorts of things. Now, you might be wondering why I'm saying all this. I'll come back to it later. And so I was, studies was not my forte at all. I used to love sports and things like that. As they say, every dog has its day. So did I. Then I entered into chartered accountancy, not by choice, but by accidentally because I could not get anywhere else. What is your son doing? CA. Wow, great. So, I joined like that. And thankfully, I cleared in first attempts. Of course, the secret is I have a very bad handwriting. I myself have a trouble in reading it. So the examiner, once he looks at my paper, would not like to look at it. So probably that could be the reason why they cleared me. And after that, I was working in Ferguson's PwC now currently. And that is where I've seen that people from, fresh graduates, I was qualified, but they were actually dominating me. They were telling me what I need to do. That's where I felt myself that I need to develop the communication skills. So over a period of time, I slowly build up the confidence levels and communication and all that. And then I land up in Saudi Arabia. That was a fascinating journey. And it was office, house, office, house. You could not see now. If you want to see some beautiful women, there are only two places. You can either go to hospitals or schools. Now, I never used to fall sick, and I was not married. I was a bachelor, so no point in for the schools or things like that. But I had a boss who was also into Toastmasters, but he never disclosed that to me. But he was always on the phone, discussing about. His name was Satish Kini. And so I had a neighbor with me, come Sunday evening, clean shave, suit, he used to go. So I got curious. He said, "No, Sunday, Raju, I'm quite busy. Don't disturb me." So the curiosity got better of me. And I said, "Come on, Gopal." His name was Gopal Bhatt. "You need to take me also for tour." "Yeah, yeah, sure, sure, come." So there I was. Believe it or not, it was a feast for my eyes. 70% ladies and 30% men. And wow, this is the place I need to be.
Jackpot.
Yeah. And but that happiness was short-lived when I realized almost 50% of them were English teachers.
Hmm.
Wow.
Another wow. Another
There
wow.
it is. But that is some memorable experience I had with Oasis Toastmasters because the competition, the passion, and the zeal which people showed was tremendous. Believe it or not, my evaluator used to call me even before I give my speech and say, "Raju, is there something you want me to specifically comment on?" It could be at the meeting or after the meeting. Then I used to share what I want, some aspects of my speaking skills. And after the meeting, we used to spend at least 1 hour to 2 hours just standing outside and chatting across. Imagine every week,
Hmm.
365 days a year, we had the meeting. Rain, sandstorm, thunderstorm, whatever it is, meetings
Hmm.
went on.
Meeting random.
And one event which I cannot really, it always stays in my memory. There were some bombings which happened in Al-Khobar, some terrorists and that sort of thing. So they blocked all the roads. And I was staying in Razayat, and there were three people, myself, Lancet D'Souza, and there was another guy, I didn't remember. Three of us, we met and we had the meeting.
Did the meeting.
It is, no, so that shows, so the lesson I learned is if you want to achieve something in life, you need to have the passion. And most importantly, what I learned is that it was quite hilarious. So see, the one thing, what I lack in skill, I make it up by enthusiasm. What I do is I go, people, okay, tell me what I have to do, what I have to do. And then one person says something, another person says something. It was like I was covering myself with a half blanket. The head is covered, the legs are out. The legs are covered, the head is out. So I was like lost, but still, it was a good learning experience. Once you have passion, you have zeal, then there's only one way. So that's an important lesson I learned. The second
Okay.
one I learned when
Yes.
Toastmasters is after 7 o'clock, the door used to be closed. You're late, that's it. So time management is something I learned a lot. And there was a lot of, like there were people of different personalities. And the contest now, when I gave my first speech and second speech,
Mm,
they say, you are a top speaker.
mm,
I
mm.
got carried away. But trust me, if there's a world record for maximum number of contests which a person lost, Raju will be on the top of the list. First 5 years, I
Mm,
participated all the contests, did not win a single trophy. And it was a learning. Now, I was I was really thinking for myself, you know, am I not so good? Or I was blaming the judges, I was
mm,
blaming the audience. So he doesn't like me, she doesn't like me, and all that sort of things. And believe me, 10 years down the line, when I looked at my speeches, I said, how can someone write such speeches? So the problem is, I was concentrating on the end result, not
mm.
on the process.
Not in the
That was my
process.
mistake. That
Exactly.
was a mistake. So, and for me, I think that was a memorable journey. And even after delivering my speech, the evaluator used to call me, or I used to call the evaluator, and we used to have 1 hour discussion, complete dissecting the speech,
Mm,
saying what needs to be done, what needs to be taken care of.
mm,
So, fellow Toastmasters, I think you have made a right choice in joining
mm.
Toastmasters. It's a wonderful thing. But remember, the more you give in, the more you get out of it.
Exactly.
Unless you're not here to do social service, or you're not here to do, many more things, but you are here to improve yourself. And that improvement will only come when you humbly take the critical comments from the people and keep bugging them till they give you a proper solution. You evaluate, you're the architect for your speech. It's your speech. So just be after them, take their advice. You have wonderful people, and have the passion, have the zeal. I'm sure your progress will always be up. Now, Zaveria has touched upon the topic, saying that stage fright, fear, and all that. So, as I said earlier, I make up by my enthusiasm. Anything they ask, I used to raise my hand. Once there was a division contest. I think it is now Gosebi or something. It was a big,
Mm,
huge hall, and I was the contest chair. I said, fine, I'll do it, no problem.
mm.
But first time in my life, I could hear my own breathing, pin drop silence.
Mm,
And it was a feeling which I said, so what? Let me have a good time. And that's it. So people often come to me and say that, oh, how do I overcome the fear? I tell them
mm,
only one thing. Look, you have created the problem for yourself. Only you can find the solution. We can give tips, we can give suggestions, but it's for you to find it. Now, the first thing I would say is practice, practice, practice. Because for me, I love practicing more than the actual day of the contest because you constantly dig down, what can I do differently? What can I do something different? This sort of things. So you're constantly dig down, when you're driving, even you drive for 2 hours, 3 hours, no problem. You're constantly thinking, how can I make changes to my speech and all that? So that's very important. So practice, invest your time. That is where the growth happens. Now, regarding the speech writing, I'll come to it at a later stage. Number two, they say in Toastmasters, have eye contact with the
mm,
audience at all times.
mm.
Focus on some audience just for a short, not too long that they feel embarrassed about it, but just short enough to feel that you're talking right to them. And now, I face some problems. Some people like Matthias Kurian and all, like you look at them, they have a very receptive face. You feel like speaking. There are some people, they are not bothered. What you're speaking, they are physically there, but mentally somewhere else. Ignore that sort of people. But there's a third category. Once you look at them, you will become speechless. Avoid them completely. They have some strange expressions which will knock you off. So please avoid them at any cost. So look at people whom you're quite comfortable with, and over a period of time, you get used to it. Sorry. Over a period of time. So practice, 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 eye contact. And when you're practicing also, don't practice in the same location every time.
Okay.
Suppose I'm in a room, this corner I practice, tomorrow I do it at that corner, tomorrow at the other place. So, like that's very important. So do it don't do at one place itself, because you're not looking at audience, but in the real contest, you're looking at the audience. Okay. Now the so the practice, and then ask yourself,
In
fear of what?
beautiful.
What if something bad happens? The audience will still clap for you, right? Yeah. So, and always remember that you owe to the audience. The audience are spending time.
Hmm.
You owe it to the audience. So once you have that pressure, then give 100%. Don't go for half measures. Don't go for shortcuts. Now, regarding speech preparation, I'll come to it later. But
Hmm.
what I'm saying is give 100%, be committed, respect the audience time. Fear, you will not know the meaning of it. The next one, which I realized at quite a subsequent stage, is that stop giving speeches. Imagine if I tell my son, do this, you think he will do it?
No.
So the same thing with the audience. So you're not there as a preacher or an expert.
Exactly.
So stop giving speeches and start sharing experiences.
Experience. Yes, I was thinking the same to
Because
that.
that is where because the audience don't care what who Raju is. They don't care. But
Hmm.
if I give an experience which I could connect with them,
Hmm.
tomorrow, if they are in a similar situation, they'll say, okay, this is how Raju has overcome that. Why not I also do something similar? Yeah. So for that, the main thing is connection with the audience.
Connection with the audience.
Extremely, extremely important. Connection with the audience. How do you connect with the audience? Now, the why they say about global audience, and so so how do you connect with them on a personal level is extremely important. Like I remember someone who came a second place. His name was Aditya, I think Aditya Maheshwar.
Hmm.
So when he was on the international stage, he has seen some incident which happened. So he put it in a speech. Yes, then the audience, could easily connect with them. So these are some examples. That's why professional speakers, when they give keynote addresses, half an hour before they go to the hall, they interact with the audience, and they find out what he tries to suss out what the audience pulse is, and accordingly direct the presentation. So if you want to be a professional speaker, the number one thing is connect with the audience. Connect with the audience. The second
Connect
one
with the
is
audience.
you have to show that you're also vulnerable to mishaps. You're
Hmm.
not superheroes, like, okay,
Yeah.
I messed it up.
Yeah.
Be
Okay.
bold enough to say, yes, I messed it up.
Forgot the speech
Whatever
in
it
a
is,
way.
whatever it is, it
Hmm.
could be whatever it is, I failed, and like, as I said, starting of a presentation, if there's a world record for maximum contest without a trophy, that's me. Now, by the way, when I joined, what was the purpose of me joining Toastmasters?
Hmm.
Is to have a trophy. That was my aim. That's it. I had nothing else. So, to overcome fear, Practice,
Know your
connect with the
audience.
audience, connect with the audience. And regarding the message also, it should not be something which is routine, mundane, like love,
Hmm.
mother's love, father's
Friendship.
love. And, it is like some common thing. Once, imagine if I tell you a story of hare and tortoise,
Hmm.
what would be your reaction as audience? Even if I do something, the audience
Hmm.
will be off. So it's very important that take your own experience. It could be
Personal
small
stories.
experience. It could be
Personal
small
stories. Yeah.
experience which transformed you. Now, for that to happen, remember the first 30 seconds is very important in any speech or anything that you say. Make a
Hmm.
controversial statement, shake up the audience, and move them outside their comfort zone. So then, wow, is that so? And then you will be interested what the speaker is going to say next,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So you will be on journey with them. So one common mistake which people make is that including too much information, including too much information with the speech. I think that's a common mistake which people do, and I've done it a lot of times. And then, but the audience, there's only one message in a speech, just one message. That's it. So if you want to know whether your speech is linked to your message, here's a simple test. What you do is give speech to a third person who has not heard it and say,
Hmm.
what is the message you got from it?
Hmm.
If he says the same thing you had in your mind, just 3 words, not a big sentence or a paragraph,
Hmm.
spot on. Yeah. So that is the
Yes.
one thing.
And
And
then
then
yes.
and then when it comes to body language and things like that, very easy. Record your speech. Record your speech. Play it out. Put it on mute and see if the speech can be seen just by body language. And do something which comes naturally to you. Don't try to imitate someone.
Exactly.
You, each one of you have your own powerful style. Audience are very smart. If I try to fake it, they will just take it up. The credibility is lost. So do have gestures which come naturally to you. And if from the recording thing in mute, if you can see the message coming out,
Hmm.
per- perfect. Now, the most important thing which I learned recently is that
Hmm.
what do you do when you have to give a speech? You keep writing the speech, right? Okay, I'm going
Yes.
to do this,
Content
I'm
is
going to
yeah.
do this. Yeah, I'm going to do this. And
Hmm.
is it the correct method? See, by the way, there are no rules. There's no right or wrong.
Hmm.
Do what you're comfortable with. Now, I realize something that
Hmm.
when I'm giving a speech, like let's say about uh, what can I say, uh, habit of giving or something like that.
Hmm.
Now, when I'm giving the speech to Zaveria. Now, I want her to experience the same feeling that I'm going through.
Hmm.
So, what I do now is I visualize. I visualize the situation. So this is the situation with the characters, with the plot and thing. And what is the experience which I want her to experience?
Hmm.
And what words can I put it over there to create that impression in her, right? So once you start doing it, then okay, people might say you're articulate, you had the right usage of words and all that. Words come automatically. It's not the high
So
flying English.
here I will interrupt you regarding
Yeah,
the
go ahead.
words and the content because I initially in the beginning I asked you that whenever I heard your speeches, you are using very good content, very good vocabulary with a good usage of words and idioms. And even when you are doing evaluation in the table topic, you use very good and very rich vocabulary. So how to, incorporate, how to memorize actually? First stage is memorizing. How did you do that? Because
Okay.
as you mentioned, that when you joined it, everyone, the mode of the conduction was English, right? So initially you mentioned. So how did you manage to have a very good, vocabulary and everything in terms of speaking? Because usually what happens to me, even I, memorizing very good words. Every day, I learn 5 words and using it, making different sentences. But somehow, when I'm speaking, it's just come out from my mind, and I'm using the same regular words during my conversation. So how did you
Yeah,
manage? Any
yeah,
tips?
that's a wonderful question, Saveria.
Yeah.
Now, what I would say is that you need to have a flair for it, in the sense that my English is not so good. But again, like when I read an article or when I watch news,
Hmm.
watch BBC channel, the rich vocabulary which they use,
Hmm.
like now you have computers, you can go onto the internet and say, okay,
Hmm.
this, what are the words with this, the tuck, 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 you type, and the
Hmm.
rule of three and all that. So once you do that, now most important thing is use words which you're comfortable with. There's sometimes in my speech, someone suggested something, I was not
Hmm.
comfortable with it. I just removed it
Hmm.
because like now the other thing is, I like what you said, memorizing.
Hmm.
Now, remember, we have joined Toastmasters to become professional speakers.
Hmm.
Now, professional speakers means if someone wakes you up and say, "Hey, give a speech,"
Yeah, always ready for giving a speech.
I'm
Yes.
ready, I'm ready,
Ah.
I'm ready,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So the thing is, now what I do for practice is that I keep typing my speech on the computer, and I do it for the contest at least 30 to 40 times, so that it becomes a part of me. It becomes a part of me. Now, so the question of memorizing does not arise.
Hmm.
That's number one. And now, what if the problems in memorizing is there's nothing wrong with it, but you cannot get that original feeling from you when you memorize it. As I said, audience are very smart, very smart.
Hmm.
So, the best way to do is make it a part of you. And so then what happens is automatically, whenever you speak on something, it comes in a structured way. It becomes a part of you. So, most important thing, even when I give evaluation, I never use notes. The reason I do that is
Hmm. Hmm.
audience don't know what is in my mind.
Hmm.
Even if you fake with conviction, the audience will believe you, right? So
Yeah.
you're only speaking about the techniques, right? So the same thing in a speech. Trust yourself. We as human beings only use 5% of our brain. We are capable of immeasurable things to which we can do. So use your brain more often. Once you do that, memorizing is something not in my dictionary. I look at a script, if I have to do a short this thing presentation, but I put it in my own words. If I
Own
have to
words.
within one or two,
Hmm.
it's see, as I said, remember what I said. Start sharing your experiences. If there's nothing, create one. Now, how do you find it? Very easy. Make a journal every day from the time you get up to the time you retire to bed,
Hmm.
sensitive of what's happening around you. Trust me, your book will be completed in no time. Now, you improve your vocabulary, you improve your, the content for your speeches.
Hmm.
You have to keep your eyes and ears open. That's it. That's it. Now, this is something which many clubs, they say, okay, his view on the theme is so and so. Who the hell cares what his view on the theme is?
Hmm.
I say, people, give a more personalized introduction. Now, when you do that, the person feels good about it, how he or she made a difference to your life.
Hmm.
That is important.
That
These
is.
are all the small practices which you have to include. So then what happens is you become sensitive to whatever is happening around you. Yeah.
Good. Okay. Also, you whenever because you're one of my mentors and I presented many speeches in front of you. Title of the speech is also very important.
Extremely, very good
Extremely
question.
important, and you always suggest don't keep the normal topics in a way that it's already describing whole speech. It should be
Yes,
something. It should create some curiosity in the audience that what you're going to talk. So
right.
how we can do it? I mean,
Yeah,
any
yeah,
tips that.
yeah. Now, that's a great question which you asked.
Hmm.
Now, do you remember the advertisements?
Hmm.
Use the soap. Will you use the soap? No, you will not do it. The advertisement is something and the product is
Hmm.
something else, right? That
Yes.
catches your curiosity. The same
Uh,
thing also happens to the title of the speech. First of all, they should not know what what you're going to speak about, what you're going to speak about, and it should arouse the curiosity in the audience. What the hell is he going to talk about? Now, one of my speeches, I had the title as Raju 35. Now,
hmm.
neither am I 35 or 53, so it doesn't make sense, right? So try thinking outside the box. It should arouse the curiosity, it should arouse the interest of the audience. There's a humorous speech. I had a title. Is this really the title of your speech? Now, the audience were laughing even before I came onto the stage. So, this is use it to your advantage. Now, it should reveal your message,
Hmm.
the audience, it should catch audience curiosity, and
Hmm.
extremely important, it sets the base for your speech. Yeah.
Okay. And thirdly, it's very important. You said connect with your audience and also important to know your audience. I'm not asking this question from the perspective of the Toastmaster because when we are speaker, we are going to the certain different conferences or professional conferences
Yeah.
at work we are doing. It's also very important to know your audience, right? So, for example, whenever you are also my evaluator, you always say that Javera, you speak so fast, right? Somehow you are people are unable to understand you what you're saying. And sometimes when I'm talking to the kids and I'm a little slow, then kids said you are very slow, and please. Speak quickly,
Yeah.
or we're talking in front of the audience of the youth. So this is also important, and it's also impact
Right.
the performance of
Right.
the speaker.
Right. Now,
Yeah.
here, that depends on the individual
Mhm.
style of speaking. Now, suppose if it is now connecting to the audience. Now, if suppose you're going to a session where you're giving a keynote address to audience whom you don't know, whom you have not
Mm.
seen.
Mm.
So what you do is you're talking about health, let's say. Now, if I was giving a keynote address on that subject, I would go half an hour before and talk to them, talk to the various, interact with the audience and find out what is one thing which bothers you about health. At least I try to cover a
Mm.
portion of the
Mm.
audience so I know what they are looking for, right? So then it becomes easier. Now, about speaking fast and all that. Now, there's some people who speak in a speech not more than 500 words in a contest speech. There's some people, successful speakers, who speak about 1100 words, right? It
Mm.
depends on each individual style. Now, tell me one thing.
Mm.
You have seen an amazing movie.
Mm.
You were so enthusiastic. You said, Raju, you
Mm.
know what?
Mm.
We fantastic.
Mm.
Let me explain this to you. Would you
Mm.
do it a fast way or would you do it in slow? It
If
is.
there if excitement is there, then it should be on a fast pace because I wanted to, if my perspective, when I'm telling a story with excitement, I just want to finish it, and I am very excited to tell the what happened at the end, and
No,
usually
no,
I
understand,
I the
understand. But
yes.
but what happens is you start off slow, right?
Mm.
The opening was dramatic. And then the next scene, oh, like you tend to, because you want to share the same experience you encountered.
Yes, but sorry to interrupt you, but it's also not it's the people I'm explaining the story. He's a good listener or not. If I'm talking to kids or youth, then they want, okay, then what happened? Just tell us what happened next, kind of thing, no?
Yeah, yeah,
And when
but
we are
yeah,
talking to some,
but let's
middle-aged people, they will listen,
yes,
okay, slowly, gradually, okay, then what happened next? So
yeah.
it's depend on the audience also.
Understand. No,
Hmm.
no, it's a great point, depending on the audience, but
Hmm.
think in one way that 74% of effective communication is non-verbal
Hmm.
and only 26% is
Hmm.
verbal.
Well,
I think that should answer the question, right?
yes,
Because see, you always like pictures, you always like to see,
the body
ask
language you're saying.
ask yourself one thing that
Hmm.
like a ballet dancer, your body should reinforce the message.
Hmm.
Why do you think Fateh has so many fans? Because he has lot of actions, and very animated facial expressions.
So many,
This
yes.
this really captivates the audience.
Yes.
Because remember what I said, the audience have to experience the same experience you have gone through. For that to happen, you need to pause a bit for them to absorb what you have said.
Yes, exactly. And for the reference of my audience, he's talking about DTM Fateh, who's amazing and charming Toastmaster of District 79. And I'm sure I will definitely invite him on our show whenever he's available. Yes. Okay. So we are running out of time. So are you done with the points you were explaining regarding
Just
the
one last
stage fright?
conclusion. Yeah, just one
Yes.
last conclusion I
Hmm.
have.
Hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, the only message I want to give you is
Hmm.
you join Toastmasters
Hmm.
to become a better communicator, better leader, better listener. But what if I tell you that only accounts for 5%? 5%. There's 95% other skills which you can
Hmm.
cultivate, like connecting with the audience,
Hmm.
trying to be creative when you're writing your speech. How can I use different things? So this will be transformed at your workplace. How to be positive at all times when it comes to dealing with office, when it comes to dealing with colleagues. And when you sit in a flight, would you cut a conversation with a person whom you don't know, whom you're seeing for the
Hmm.
first time?
Hmm.
So these are some finite skills which you can develop, but it comes with a caveat. The more you put in, the more you get out of it. So, one last message I say that the day your family members or your friends or your boss says, I see some change in you, that is the day you have earned your Distinguished Toastmaster Award. How you translate this
How
experience
to
into the
transform,
external
yes.
world. Remember, the purpose of our life is make difference to others. When we leave this world, people don't remember what your financial status, your family,
Hmm.
your awards.
Exactly.
No, they'll remember for the memories you created for them. And for that, Toastmasters is the place to
Is all about.
practice the art of creating memories. Over to
Art
you,
of
Sunil.
creating memories. Thank you so much,
Thank
Nikim
you.
Raju. Listening to you is a treat for me always, always. Whenever you are evaluating my speech or you're giving your speech. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, definitely you have learned a lot in terms of speaking, delivery, stage fright, and of course, the content is also very important. Don't use heavy words somehow that audience is not connecting with you. Don't use so many slang language in a terms of that people are not respecting you in a way that you're a very presentable speaker. So be moderate in your speeches. And as mentioned by the Raju, please add your personal stories. Don't use so much bookish lines, so many, researches and, statistics and other things. People are not interested to know that. For that, they have Google. So if you're delivering your speeches, add your personal experience. People want to know what you have observed, what is happening around, and how you portray, how you deliver at this stage. This is more important. So thank you so much, Nitin Raju, for taking out your valuable time
Thank you.
and insight you shared with us. It's really very timely because contest season is on all over the world, and there is not a single Toastmaster who is not involved in any contest in terms of the contestant or a role player. So I hope that this episode will really help them whatever they are delivering as a contestant, as a role player, as a contest chair, or a contest master. So inshallah, I will back with another episode on the 1st February with another amazing distinguished Toastmaster. And till then, take care of yourselves. Bye bye and Allah Hafiz.
Thank you.